Hello, Fanatics. Welcome or welcome back to Diamond Painting Fanatics. I am Cindy and I am working on Toma and Candice the Bird from Diamond Art Studio. Yeah, how are you guys? Do you realise how long it's been since I've just done a random, spontaneous video? It's been a while. And I am super busy, as you probably all know. I go live on Mondays at 8 p.m. UK time. That takes up all of my evening on a Monday, and I love it. I love interacting with you in real time. We chat, have a laugh, and it's awesome. Obviously, Spring Flings and Easter Things is going on as well. A diamond painting event that I host here on my channel. That's going on. Then we have the new releases with Dainty as well. There's a lot. There's a whole ton going on right now. So I thought, what can I do that's just spontaneous and fun? And I was sat diamond painting in my dining room, and Reece had YouTube on his phone, and he was listening to all of these stories, and I thought that sounds like fun, and I was actually listening. Normally I just zone out because, you know, they watch all these gaming things, and it was a gamer that he was watching, but he was telling all of these like stories. I think it's called Am I the Jerk? And they kind of like tell you these stories, and you have to kind of work out, are they in the wrong, are they in the right? And I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it a go. Obviously not gaming, but diamond painting, because we all know I'm fanatical about that. So yeah, and I was telling Reece, I said, I think I'm going to do that on my channel. I'm going to give it a go, see if the Fanatics like it. If they do, I will do more of them. So you must let me know in the comment section. Reece has also done a couple of stories as well and added them into this video. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I am not... I have called it Am I in the Wrong? So I will do a playlist, and I will do number the episodes so you get them in order. And obviously my Fanatic family members will get to watch this first. And yeah, members, let me know. Do you like this? We'll soon see. We'll find out. So yeah, grab your project, come join me. They are just short stories. Am I in the wrong? And then I give you the dilemma of what this person has posted. Now, I went to Reddit and I pulled it out on Reddit, and I'm just reading them. They're not my stories. They are, you know, in the public domain. So I have pinched them. And yeah, if you have any dilemmas, obviously I will hide real names and etc. But yeah, if you have any similar am I in the wrong, let me know, and we'll see if we can get them added in. If this is a popular whip and chat, I guess this is what it is. So yeah, like I said, grab your project, grab a cup of tea or coffee or wine, whatever you're drinking. Come join me, and yeah, I look forward to seeing the responses on this video. Obviously I'm going to number them as we go, so you can always use the comment section. You can leave multiple comments. Story number 1, they were in the wrong. Story number 2, they were not in the wrong, so on and so forth. You can always use the comment section for that, or just listen. I don't mind. Work and lurk. That's all good with me too. Not everyone is a fan of commenting, so I understand that. But yeah, without any further ado, let's introduce this new little mini-series, should we call it? Because we don't know how popular it's going to be. I enjoyed it. Some of them are funny. Some of them are just pure daft. Some of them... yeah, you'll see. Well, without further ado, let's begin with story number 1, shall we? Enjoy! Am I in the wrong for not letting my miracle baby niece be my flower girl at my wedding? My older brother and sister-in-law, both in their mid-30s, just welcomed their first child a year and a half ago, after years of trying. After many failed attempts, sister-in-law was told that she wouldn't be able to get pregnant due to a medical condition she has. Against the odds, they got pregnant. Since having my niece, the baby has been the centre of attention at every family event we've had since she was born. Birthdays, weddings, family get-togethers, you name it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my niece, but it can get to be a little too much when my sister-in-law goes on and on about how long they tried to conceive, the complications that they've had, miscarriages they've had, and so on and so forth. Like a little too much information. Many family members have commented on how it's a little bit excessive, but no one has said anything because they don't want to sound like a a-hole. Anyway, I'm getting married in the spring, and my brother and sister-in-law approached me last weekend about having my niece be the flower girl. My fiancé has 2 children, a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl, from his previous marriage. His son is one of the groomsmen, while his daughter had asked to be our flower girl when we told them the news we were getting married a year ago. It's something she always wanted to do, so of course we said yes. So I explained this to my sister-in-law when she asked me about my niece. She asked if my stepdaughter can just carry my niece with her. So I replied that I don't think she'd be comfortable with that, considering that she's 6. She then asked, why can't I give that role to my niece and allow herself to carry my niece down as the flower girl? And I said no, because I already promised it to my stepdaughter. Then she started going off about how my lack of effort to incorporate my niece was disgusting to her, and I should, quote, honour her in some way, since I know how long and how hard they tried for my niece. Now, it may sound like I'm completely in the wrong for this, but I kind of got fed up and I snapped, and I said, incorporate my niece how? By the time the wedding comes around, she'll be 2 years old. The entire family already knows your story about how long and how hard you guys tried for her. But what more do you expect me to do to honour her? She started crying and said that clearly I don't love my one and my niece, and I'm, quote, letting her down. I said, of course I love my niece, and obviously she's going to be involved in pictures and stuff, but I'm not going to let my stepdaughter down by giving my niece a role that she's too young to remember anyway. Well, now sister-in-law and my brother are annoyed with me for not letting my niece be flower girl and are running around telling the rest of the family I don't love my niece. My mum had been trying to stay neutral but thinks my stepdaughter would understand if I explained to her I need to give that role to my niece. However, I am firm in my decision though, and my fiancé is thankful that I didn't let his daughter down. Am I in the wrong for not allowing my niece to be the flower girl? Am I in the wrong for wanting my own room? I and my fiancé are moving into a small 3-bedroomed house together in a couple of months. I had never had my own room growing up and share a room with a roommate in my current living situation to save money. I always felt the need to share and felt guilty when I wanted to be alone in my room, but couldn't since someone else was always there. The only time I had a room all to myself was when my roommate or my siblings were away. Even so, I didn't feel like I truly had a room to myself. When discussing the use for one of the spare rooms in our soon-to-be house, I mentioned wanting to turn it into a bedroom for myself when I wanted to be alone. My fiancé was confused, and he said he wanted to use the spare room for an at-home gym instead. The other spare room will be an office for when my fiancé needs to work from home. I argued that he already has claim over one of the spare rooms, and I should be allowed to use the other one for myself. I told him that I was looking forward to having a space all to myself where I can be alone when I want, and I'm the only person that has access to. He argued that the point of moving in together was to share everything with each other and not just coexist in the same space. He said he would change his mind on wanting a gym if we agreed to turn the second bedroom into a guest bedroom that both of us can use when we want to be in our own space. I feel like I would still be sharing. If I have a room to myself to use and he wants to be alone at times, I can just go into my own room and give him the space he wants. We would be splitting the expenses 50-50, so I don't think I'm being unreasonable. Am I wrong for wanting my own room? Am I wrong for kicking my sister out of my engagement dinner because she wouldn't stop taking photos and made a scene? I am blessed to be marrying the love of my life. My engagement party was booked at an upscale restaurant, and prior to the day, I sat my sister down and told her that I wanted the party to be focused on the wedding and to please not go above and beyond and take photos for her social media page. I might get flack for this part, but my sister is trying really hard to become famous online. I've never said anything to her because she's an adult and this is her life. But for my wedding, I really didn't want her to pull any of her antics because she doesn't take just a few photos to post. She's the embarrassing, in my opinion, caricature of the online influencer. She'll order 2 dishes at a restaurant, one to take photos because it's prettier and the second to actually eat. She stopped traffic before to take outfit photos in the street. She's also staged fake things to post online. One time she started crying in a Starbucks and made a fake store up about how the barista bullied her. I want to make it clear that I didn't bar my sister from taking photos. I just didn't want her doing something that would embarrass me. Everything was okay until she literally stood on top of her chair to take a top-down photo of her meal. Everyone was staring and in shock, and a waiter had to come and ask her to sit down. She refused to and started to loudly argue with the waiter, saying that she was the sister of the bride, and then started to loudly sob that she was getting bullied. I was absolutely mortified and immediately had the groomsmen escort her out of the room. She's since blasted me on social media, calling me a swear word for not handling the situation with more, quote, grace and empathy. She says that I could have given her a warning instead of kicking her immediately out. I was kind of panicking, so I wonder if I could have handled it better. Am I in the wrong for not giving my daughter who eloped cash for her honeymoon? My daughter Jane recently eloped with her partner of 5 years. My wife and I were excited when they got engaged to plan a wedding, but she said that she didn't want to rush setting a date or planning a wedding. This was understandable to us, and we didn't want to rush them either, but we let her know we would contribute a set amount to her wedding when the time came. Then, last week, she tells me she has an announcement and that they actually eloped together because they decided they didn't want the big event with all the attention on them. I was a little disappointed, but we understood. She's never been the type to want to be in the spotlight, so while we weren't expecting it, it wasn't the biggest shock in the world. What we did feel like a shock is when she assumed we'd just give her that amount of cash straight up. She said they wanted to use it to take a month-long travelling sabbatical / honeymoon. My wife and I told her the money we were prepared to give her was for a family event, not just for her to do as she pleases. If she didn't want a traditional wedding, that's fine. But we never told her we were just giving her, say, 15k for the act of getting married. We just didn't want her to have to spend a ton of her own funds on a wedding, since relatives and family friends would have presumably been there. We were happy to pay for it, so she wouldn't have to. 2 of my nieces have got married in the last couple of years, and it's a family event to us, not just about 2 people getting married. This has caused a whole thing with her saying we went back on our word to her, but in my mind, we never told her otherwise. We did say if she wants a second ceremony / family event to celebrate, but it wouldn't be an official wedding, we would sponsor that. If she had asked if she eloped or had a tiny wedding, if we would give her some of it for a honeymoon, we may have considered it, but it's hard to know because we were never given the request. They just went and did their own thing, which again is fine. So, am I in the wrong for not just giving her the cash we would have paid?
Am I in the wrong for wearing a wedding dress at a wedding? So my friend, 20-year-old female, and I, a 19-year-old male, have been friends for a few years, and she recently got engaged. A week ago, I got a DM from her for a small costume party she was hosting as a celebration for getting engaged. I asked if there was a theme, and she said there wasn't. I'm a cosplayer, so I had a lot of choices. I didn't want to rock up in an anime cosplay, so I thought it would be funny to go in an engagement party as the corpse bride. I arrived at her house yesterday and everything seems normal. A few people complimented my costume and I was having a lot of fun. After 10 minutes, my friend's fiancé walked out in a black tuxedo and announced that this was actually their wedding. Apparently my friend saw a video of someone doing this and wanted to do the same. He asked us all to go in the backyard for the ceremony to begin. I went straight to him. I asked him if I should quickly go home and change my outfit and that I would get back before it started. He told me it was fine since I didn't know this was the wedding. I trusted him and followed everyone outside. They got married and everything seemed good. The reception was just in their house again, so everyone just walked back inside and picked up where they left off. I tried talking to my friend and celebrating with her, but she kept making excuses to not talk to me. I assumed it was just because she was tired from the big day and wanted some alone time. I didn't bother her after that, and the party soon ended. I got home and half an hour passed when my phone started getting notifications. I checked and it was my friend texting me. She was cussing me out and telling me how I ruined her wedding. I was really confused and asked what I did. That only made her more angry. She told me it was basic knowledge not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I reminded her I had no idea it was a wedding and that I asked her now husband if I should change and he said it was fine. She didn't respond, but I got a text from her husband. He asked why I would tell her he said it was fine. I told him he said it was fine. Then he said how I should have changed anyways, and it's my fault that the two are now fighting over this. I've tried texting her that I was sorry, and if I had known I wouldn't have done it. I woke up today and saw her and her husband have blocked me on everything. So am I in the wrong for not changing out the wedding dress when I found out it was actually a wedding? Edit. I am a guy. I cosplayed the character Emily from The Corpse Bride and had a blue paint all over. I'm also Australian and I've never heard a costume party meaning fancy. Everyone was dressed up in funny costumes. Am I in the wrong for taking away my son's bedroom door because he won't stop slamming it? I have 3 kids, Maggie, Levy and Charlie, not their real names. Levy and Charlie share a bedroom and Maggie has her own room as the oldest and also only girl. Maggie is a great kid. She does her homework, helps with chores without too much complaint, doesn't bug her little brothers too much. The issue is that she will not stop slamming her bedroom door. When she gets up to use the bathroom at night, she slams her bedroom door on her way out and back in. When she gets up in the morning or goes to bed at night, she slams it. Pretty much any time she enters or exits her room, the door gets slammed. And it's only her door, none of the other doors in the house. It shakes the walls and frequently wakes up everyone else in the house. Her brother's room shares a wall with hers and our bedroom is directly above theirs. We've talked to her about it and asked her very politely to please be more mindful about it because it's disturbing the rest of us. But it's in one ear, out the other. We tried being more forceful about it, saying that if she continues to slam her door, there will start to be consequences. Still, nothing changes. It all came to a head the other night. When she got up to use the bathroom, all four of us were woken up by the slamming. I have to be up at 5 a.m. for work, and I've had enough of the broken sleep. And came downstairs and knocked on her door. She opened it and said what, with such attitude. It took a lot of self-control not to start yelling. I told her as calmly as I could that if she slammed the door one more time, she was going to come home, find it gone. She proceeded to yell at me to leave her alone and then slammed it 5 times as hard as she could. Well, the next day she went to school and my husband and I both had the day off, so we took the door off the frame and installed a curtain rod with a nice heavy curtain over the door instead. She came home and freaked out. She said we're being emotionally abusive and taking away her right to privacy. She sulked all weekend and won't talk to us now. Mother says I'm the one in the wrong because I overreacted, but she doesn't have to deal with the house shaking. I want to add that we completely respect each other's privacy in our house, which is why we hung a heavy curtain and made sure that we couldn't see through it or around it. We even put little Velcro pieces on the wall and curtain sides so it stays in place. She still has her physical privacy, which she is absolutely entitled to, but can't slam a piece of fabric. We also have never and still don't just go in her room unannounced and still knock on the wall to ask for permission to enter. So we've told her we'll happily put her door back when she agrees to respect the no slamming rule. Am I in the wrong? Edit. The curtain is an industrial type that blocks sound and light. The curtain is only meant to be a temporary measure. As soon as she agrees to stop slamming and be respectful of the shared space, we will put it right back on. The door isn't broken or malfunctioning anyway, and there's no draft causing it to swing shut. Do you think he was in the wrong, or was he right?
Am I in the wrong for not wanting to apologise over and over again for my daughter's upbringing? I am a 45-year-old. I had my daughter, CJ, now 28, when I was around 17 years old. Her father did not stick around and we really struggled for a bit. Even when I graduated college, I had a bunch of student loan debt as well as juggling rent, food and other expenses. CJ never lacked necessities, but I admit she didn't get a lot of material possessions. I would try to save up as much as possible to make Christmas and birthdays as fun as possible, but she didn't get much else throughout the year, and we only went on 2 vacations total in her childhood. We definitely ate a lot of struggle meals and had to move often. We honestly teetered on the poverty line. When CJ was 17, I was finally debt-free, got a promotion at work and was doing much better. I did start to give her things throughout the year. I used to use my bonus to take her to Disney World, somewhere she always wanted to go but couldn't. It was nice that after years of struggling, I could spoil her a little. She went off to college, and in this time I met my husband, Matthew. We got married and now we have 2 kids together, Jack, who is 5, and Melissa, who is 6. With our combined incomes, we live quite comfortably. I admit Jack and Melissa have gotten a lot more than CJ did at that age. I've certainly never left her out. She's always invited on our trips. We pay. I get her random gifts throughout the year. Birthdays and Christmases are bigger. I'm trying to make it as even as I can, but I know realistically it never can be. CJ first pointed out the discrepancy a couple of years ago. We took the kids to Disney. CJ went with us. I sat CJ down and apologised for her childhood. I said I wish I had been in a better place when she was their age. I know I can never truly make up for it, etc. I said I know it will take time for her to heal from that. I thought that was that. But since then, CJ has constantly complained whenever her siblings get anything. I'm always super sensitive to her feelings, validate them, etc. But things came to a head recently. On Jack's birthday, instead of a party, he opted to see the off-Broadway production of Frozen. As always, we invited CJ to come along, as well as her fiancé. The whole night, she was pouting and seemed upset. I tried talking to her, but she brushed it off. We went to dinner after the show. Jack and Melissa were excitedly talking about it. CJ then butted in. You know what I got for my 5th birthday, Jack? A Barbie from the dollar store. The kids didn't really see the big deal, but the adults at the table understood. I was civil the rest of the meal, but I later called CJ and told her what she did was unacceptable. I cannot continuously apologise for her upbringing, and she can't throw it in my face. I asked if she wanted me to give her siblings less, simply because she did. She said no, but that she can bring it up whenever she wants, and she'll continue to do so. I said I was disappointed and hung up. Later, CJ sent me a very long text telling me I was a horrible mother. Am I in the wrong? Am I in the wrong for telling my girlfriend that her having depression isn't an excuse to be a slob? Recently, my girlfriend moved in with me a couple of months ago into my home due to her being on bad terms with her parents. Living with her has been a little bit of a struggle because she's a very messy person. She leaves her clothes everywhere, on the floor and on the bed, can't be bothered to fold or hang up her clothes. I swear she uses our bed as a closet. She sometimes brings food into the room and doesn't throw it away. Even worse, she sometimes puts the garbage under the bed, so I don't complain about it. I don't even want to get started on what the bathroom looks like. I had to start using the guest bathroom. I understand that having depression can make it harder for someone to take care of themselves and their environment, but I feel like there is a limit to where you're just using it as an excuse just to do whatever and not care, especially when you're living in someone else's home. I keep telling her to clean up after herself and that I'm tired of cleaning up after a grown woman, and she always responds with that she has depression and ADHD, which I don't see how that's an excuse. You have depression, sure. How does that make you leave garbage everywhere and be a slob? I don't get it. You're an adult, act like it. she got really angry and accused me of not giving a sod about what she's going through, and called me an unsympathetic moron. Apparently, I'm not being supportive and understanding of her mental health because I have a problem with her treating my house like it's a garbage dump. Am I in the wrong here? I feel like I was overly harsh because I probably could have addressed this issue in a friendlier way. But after many attempts of trying to get her to be more clean and pick up after herself, I just had enough. Am I in the wrong for taking away the Netflix account I share with my friend? This is honestly stupid and petty, but I need some insight. I have a Netflix account that I fully pay for. One of my closest friends is in a tight financial situation, and I gave her full access to my account to use as she pleases. Said friend is in a long-term, long-distance online relationship. Today, she called me and she casually told me she gave my Netflix account to her partner so they could watch movies together. She proceeded to ask if I'm mad she gave it away, and although livid, I responded that her question is a little too late considering she already did it. I didn't want to be an a-hole, so I hung up to compose myself. Then I decided to change my password and sign out of all devices currently logged in. Am I wrong for doing this? I didn't mean to be selfish. I would have been fine with them both using it if she had asked. Am I in the wrong for trying to get my fiance's brother kicked out? I was planning to go on a vacation with a group of my childhood friends, but it's been cancelled because my fiance went back on his word to help pay for the accommodation after he found out a male childhood friend of mine is going. He's not going to be the only guy there, but my fiance doesn't like him because of how close we used to be. So now he won't pay for it, which means some friends can't come, so it won't be the same. I've been trying to convince him to change his mind, but it hasn't worked. The last time I brought it up, my fiance's brother said I was bold for trying to get my fiance to pay for mine and my boyfriend's little vacation. I was already frustrated, so his little joke was the final straw, and I told him to get out. He basically laughed in my face and told me I wasn't the wife yet and sarcastically called me princess. I kept trying to kick him out of the house, but he wouldn't go, and eventually my fiancé got annoyed with both of us and told us to stop. I told him his brother was being horrible to me, and he didn't even care, but my fiancé was angry at me for trying to kick his brother out over a dumb joke. Am I in the wrong? And there you go. 10 stories, I think it was. And yeah, what do you think? Did you enjoy that? Something a little different? Let me know. Well, thank you for joining me. And yeah, I hope you got some diamond painting done. And I shall see you in an upcoming video very, very soon. Love, Hugs and sparkles to you all.